Let's start from what the Constitution states. Of course, everybody keeps running back to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they are quick to add or quick to point out that there is freedom of expression, there is freedom of movement, freedom of association, and freedom to protest. What exactly does the Constitution say when it comes to the right to protest?
All right, Section 40 of the Constitution actually gives you freedom of association.
Okay.
So you can associate based on Section 40, says that every Nigerian citizen is free to associate with one another. They're free to come up with anything they want to do. And then that same Section 40 also gives you the freedom to start a political party.
Right.
All right, so if you follow up with Section 41, talks about freedom of thought and movement as well. So the combination actually gives you, if you can gather, you can associate with people, that you can move, that you can do anything as far as the law is guaranteed. And most times protests also, or protesters also hide under this, you know, like that, because it guarantees your movement, it guarantees association, and there's no part of the Constitution that forbids you from actually expressing yourself.
Okay.
Particularly whether the expression can be positive or negative, depending on how you feel. But there are limitations also in the same Constitution, because if you go down Section 45, all right, it says that in as much all those rights guaranteed from Section 37 up to 41, which are called fundamental human rights. All right, those rights, based on Section 45, it says that when it comes to public safety, when it comes to public interest, when it comes to public health, those rights can actually be suspended to an extent to allow for public safety.
Okay.
All right. Then also it talks about security. Right. So if public security is going to be threatened by your intended protest, then you might have to, the government has a right, 100% right, to come in and redirect that at this level, whatever thing you're trying to achieve, you have to put it aside. Now, then also for the purpose of protecting other people's rights. All right, now, so that's where the balance is. And the government is the principal party to ensure that all these things are properly put in place. And I don't know if I can expand on it, because if you look at what happened, now nobody's against protests and nobody's going to stop anybody from protesting, because you have a right to express yourself. Now, but if we look down at what we just brought up, the Section 45, and you can see the reason why state governments are actually coming out to say they don't want this, particularly coming on the heels of what happened in 2020, the NSAS, protests, and how the thing turned out. You know, we saw loss of lives, loss of properties, and I think Lagos State valued what they lost around 700 billion. So I was on a platform and I was talking to someone. The person said, well, that was 4 years ago. It was an unfortunate incident, but I said, have you lost 700 billion before? He said, no. I said, have you lost 7 million? He said, it doesn't even have up to that. I said, so the only person that can stop someone who has lost 700 billion is someone who has lost 800 billion. So you cannot come and say...
So you felt it?
Yes. So the person can say, I've lost 800 billion, don't worry, this was how I did it. But if you have not lost 700 naira and you want to... it's just common sense. So, and you see, the primary reason why the government is there is for the security of the citizens.
Right.
Sure.
Because whatever you want to do, whatever your agitations, you must also consider the next man. Because as it stands, one of the problems, I don't have a problem with the protests, because really, I broke it down into three. I said, say, we have a situation, we have agitation, then what's the solution? Those are the three levels. You cannot deny the fact that the economy has taken a nosedive in the past 1 year.
Right.
And everything rises and falls on the leadership. Because I'm Yoruba, and the Yorubas will tell you that Oruko Balofin Beroko. Everything that happens is in the name of the president, even where he's not involved in it. So everybody just mentions, I've seen, I mean, on a lighter note, even when your wife disagrees with you in the house, you blame the government, you blame the president for it because you just feel, why is this thing happening? So everybody holds the president accountable for whatever happens, even where it's not necessary. Now, but you see, the fact is this, sometimes we try to do some things and we lose the plot. That was what happened with the NSAS. Because at the end of the day, whatever they were agitating for still remains with us. All right, now, so that's one part. Then the next part is that one of the things the police said, and most of the people in leadership said earlier, was that they don't know these people.
They're faceless.
The organizers.
Yes, so you cannot, that is enough for any government, any leadership to be apprehensive. That if you're the one leading this thing, come on, let's know you so that when push comes to shove, we will have somebody to hold. Because like what happened at the end, it's the same thing. We have a way of starting something and losing the plot. And I can give you examples. The first one was NSAS. When they came and said, okay, who's your leadership? They said, we don't have leaders. It's all of us. They have to talk to some people. At the end of the day, the thing went south and nothing was achieved. We lost more than, we gained from it. The same thing, another example of losing the plot in Nigeria was, remember the case with the custom? When they stop you, they'll stop you on the road and ask for your car papers and everything. And the Senate summoned the then custom boss, who was the former military guy.
He said he could not wear the uniform.
You know, they lost the plot. They were arguing, is he going to wear military uniform? Is he going to wear custom uniform? At the end of the day, it became a debate. He forgot what brought them there, and nothing came out of it. The same thing is playing out here. It's hunger that we're fighting against. Nobody has denied the fact that people are hungry. If you're not hungry, the next man to you is eating into your pocket. People are asking you, people are demanding from you. I tell people that in as much as I'm not suffering, there are too many people around me, so it's affecting me. So by implication, I'm suffering.
You're sweating as well.
So that's the thing. But so in order not to lose this plot, the organizers need to come out. Then even World War, they landed at the table.
You have to dialogue.
So you have to dialogue. So if you're refusing to dialogue with the main players, then there's the suspicion that you're up to something sinister. Is right.
Okay, Bosun, I love the fact that you gave us the breakdown of what the Constitution says and how the people should conduct themselves. They have the right to associate, to protest and everything. But does the Constitution also say that they must get the permission of the police as regards where they are going to use, where they are going to gather? And if you are to advise these faceless organizers now, how well do you think they should go about this protest in such a way that we would not have a similar experience of what we had in 2020, lives will not be lost, and they'll still keep their eyes on the ball?
All right, fantastic question. Now, so the first thing is, the law is written in such a way that it leaves room for, development and improvement. Now, so everything may not be captured in the law. So sometimes what comes to play is experience and what has happened in the past. Now, but there's no specific provision that says that protesters should go and seek permission. It's not anywhere. You can gather yourself as long as you feel you have the rights under the law and whatever you're doing is legitimate. If we gather now and we're bringing out guns, that's no longer protest. That's insurrection. You're gone outside what the law. So it's freedom of expression. I mean, we've seen it in other climes. People will come, abuse the Queen, abuse the Prime Minister. When you finish, when saliva finishes in your mouth, you go
to your house.
So that's how it's done. So it's guaranteed by law. So there's nowhere that says now. But you see, from experience and from, the most recent situation was not even NSAS. It was the Emefiele Naira crunch thing. People started burning banks. People started, because they didn't know. So, and you see, what you have is when people gather like that, and particularly when hungry people gather, you cannot determine, in fact, they themselves cannot determine what they will do. So that's why police needs to step in as much as they don't really need permission from them, they need some level of guidance. So what I expect to happen, like we could take a cue from the NSAS. People just started gathering at the toll gate. Initially, it was like a jamboree. Then the next thing is just so that, okay, we have the numbers, let's do anything. And you know, with numbers, things, you just need one person to suggest something crazy.
And everybody follows.
And then everything will scatter. Now, so what I expect the police to do in this situation is that, with what happened with NSAS, they condoned off the whole place. People couldn't go to the island, people couldn't come in. Now, so wisdom says that police should be there before the protesters come, then mark a perimeter for them. You want to protest, we will see you. They will see you. Mark a place, allow other people. I mean, we've seen from the Constitution that says, the same Constitution that gives you the right to protest gives others the right to go about their lawful business.
Right.
So what they have to do, but because human beings can be unpredictable, you don't know. Sometimes, you know, we crowd anything. I mean, we've all been students. You know, you just need one person to just say something funny, and then you can't determine how far the thing will go. And, you know, I think the Holy Book says that the beginning of strife is like when you pour water from a drum. You can't determine how far the water will spread. Now, so for this, the police doesn't have to give them permission on what to do, but they can regulate their activities so that it won't coincide or disrupt other road users, other business people, and then they should also be on alert. Like what we saw, I stay in Surulere, so I know what happened with during the NSAS. And what people don't understand is that all of us are fighting the same cause. If you now look at me like I'm the cause of your problem, because people can't reach the president, they can't reach the Senate, the same people. That's why one of the reasons why Lagos is saying that this is not the seat of power. Where you meet those people who determine your life and how you found yourself here, go and meet them, go and protest there. Because at the end of the day, what happens, what I've seen is that, which is why every one of us must be careful. The average poor person sees the rich man on the street as the source of his problem. So when this happens, you are the first target.
Right.
They just assume that guy, and then God help you if you've been on some platforms where you've supported the government, they just assume that, boy, you have eaten from the government, you're the first target. So all of us must be careful, in as much as we're all agitating. You don't know who they will come for. They don't know where the president stays. They don't know where all those people stay. So, and they can't even assess them. So that's why in agitating, we must be careful. There must be a lot of engagement. I expect by now that even legislators should come around and start
engaging
engaging the people, making them see what it is. And I feel the government, maybe the sub-nationals, should even own this protest. Because I've seen governors complain. I've seen other people in power complain. So you too lead the protest. And then, so own it. And be a part of it, because what the average person wants is they just want to know that we're on the same level.
You identify with their...
Because if you don't identify, let me give you a very funny example. You know when you get home and you find out that there's no electricity, you feel bad. The moment you peep and you see that your neighbor too doesn't have, you are fine. If they have, you just, the aggression increases. So that's what happens here. So because people feel that you're living large, and I don't have food. So that's why I said you are the first target. But if they see that we're on the same pedestal, if the governor comes, join the protest, carry placard, all of us, it's all of us. So then we now know who to face.
Right. Let's quickly, again, you mentioned this now, but let's just expatiate it a bit, and that is the angle of the government to this particular situation. Yes, all government officials, especially, you know, the handlers of Mr. President, are saying you cannot protest. Yes, we cannot hold you, but you must protest within the ambit of the law. You must do this and not, cross fire, cross levels and all of that. Utterances at this particular point in time should also be finding soothing words to placate angry people who, of course, are hungry people. So how best can the presidency and, of course, the governors handle the situation? Because as it is, it looks like some people are adamant. Whether we have a permit or not, we will go out. And some people are now also looking at, we want to dare the government and go against all odds and go out. So as government is mobilizing people to speak against this protest, you also have people who are saying, you know what, come August 1, we are going onto the streets. So how best can government get to the minds of those people, especially the young people now?
I think the lowest point of this administration has been communication, effective communication. I don't know how. Unfortunately, they have, well, maybe they used to be in the opposition, so maybe they don't know how to handle their own thing. In fairness, I think it was, I saw on a sister station, Ajuri, he was the only one who's come up with something fantastic and brilliant on this protest. The rest of the people have been like, don't protest, don't do this. In fact, some have even made it ethnic.
Right.
Which is not supposed to be. The fact is that, I mean, I don't go to market, but I have a wife who goes to market, and I know what has happened in the past 1 month. Now, so the seller of the tomato doesn't know ethnic. It doesn't sell based on ethnicity. They sell based on what they got. And so everybody knows that earning power hasn't increased, but inflation is on the high, higher than what we've known. So definitely, if I still earn my 100,000 and what I'm supposed to buy is now what my spending is now about 200,000, there's a problem. So there's panic. Now there are some who don't even earn at all, and they have to leave and they have to survive. So I think government needs to come out and communicate well, because I've seen people come and literally just talk at the people who want to protest. And you see, you don't dare a hungry man. You don't dare. He is low. He's at his lowest. He doesn't know, that's why I keep saying, he doesn't know what he can do. So all you need to do is provoke him, and you will see what you see more than what you bargain for. So I feel communication, effective communication, let's qualify, has been lacking with this administration, and they really need to come out. You don't tell people not to protest. You engage them on what they want. Then you see, there's this popular saying that when there is hope in the future, there's power in the present. People can endure anything as long as they know that tomorrow is going to be better. Right. But if you're brazen about it, you don't care, then people see the president's children, they're not feeling this. They see the Senate president's children and how they go in convoys, and they don't have two heads. That's the way the average person reasons. So if you're brazen about how you communicate with them, they will just look at, it's like a blind man, he will just scatter everything. And he has nothing to lose, he's already blind. I mean, apologies to, no disregard, disrespect to, but I'm just trying to make an expression here that they say he who is down fares no fall. They will just bring, the attempt is to bring everybody down.
Anyway,
to their level.
So all of us will be there. And I've seen things, there was some video, all those funny videos we see on Instagram where somebody was saying that all of us, let's just die. And I saw another lighter note. I saw one of the artists, this guy who was saying something. I'm not a fan, but he said he's not going to protest, and now he has money. That protest is actually for that protest is actually for people who don't have money, who haven't eaten. Unfortunately, you have such people in the majority. So, and it's an us versus them kind of thing. So if the government doesn't manage it with effective communication, they will, at the end of the day, they will just, what they will spend to clean up the mess will be more than what they should spend, So government needs to come out and tell people that, okay, if you say tomorrow tomato will be, let's say, even if you say 2 years' time, it will be this. People will endure.
We'll give them hope.
Just give them hope. Not false hope now, but let them know. Show your workings, like they say on the street, that, see, this is where we are, this is where we're coming from, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Like you rightly said, if somebody is hungry, you have every tendency of being angry, extremely. How do you think the officers and men of the Nigerian police should manage these protests if eventually it's going to happen on the 1st of August? Because the people who were there, and some of the officers as well, they might want to lose control. That is one. And
because they are also hungry.
Yes, but they cannot say it. They cannot say it. So what are those things, aside from the way the officers and men of the Nigerian police should conduct themselves, that government should also do in the interim to at least assuage the sufferings of the common man?
All right. Now, so they have about 3-4 days to do that. And I remember reading a story in this book 48 laws of power. So just quickly, I'll say, the guy, there was some guy, it looks like the story of Daniel, but it was another version. They said there was this guy who had served the king, you know, and the king died. The king's son now became the king, and he was serving him, loyal servant and everything. They said at the end of the day, some people came and told the king that he did some things funny. So the guy was like, the king now said, well, with what you have done, without listening to him, he said he was going to throw him to the lions. You know, so the guy said in 7 days' time they were going to do that. So the guy said, okay, no problem. So he went to the keeper of the lions and just said, please give me 6 days. Let me feed this lions. So he fed the lions for 6 days. By the 7th day, he ran back home. Then they now threw him in the lion's den. So he sat there. The lions were playing with him because he fed them for 6 days. So the king was like, what happened? What's going on here? The guy now said, he now came out. They asked him to come out of the thing. So he came out and said, king was like, how come? So the guy said, well, I served your father, served you for like 50 years. That I only served those people for 6 days. And I served those animals for 6 days. And they showed loyalty to me. You haven't done that. So back to your question, what the police needs to do. Right now, I don't envy them. But all they have to do, all you need to do with this protest, just own it and show that you're the same with these people. That's all you need to do. All they need to do. I've seen communicate from the police. They've called even private police people, you know. So all they need to do, deploy their people, go into the street, talk to the people. You don't know the DPO in your area. I don't know him, the one in my area. So this is the time for them to go out. They have 3 days to do this. Go out and get the people, talk to them. Just identify with the people. That's what is going to quell this. Anything that make you stand against the people, I tell you, the government will see more than they bargain for.
All right. Before we allow you go this morning, what is also, again, probably at the back of, you know, the organizers will be the Kenya experience. One thing to see the fact that it was done in Kenya, yes, met with resistance and all of that, but for them, it was that issue, though has not ended, but could also be one that is making the people resolute about this. Is there anything to learn from the Kenya experience?
Yes. Now, the Kenya experience is actually the pivotal position for this. And the sad part, I was on a platform also, and somebody was like, didn't you see them protest in Kenya? I said, have you seen what happened in Kenya following the protest? He said the president changed some things. I said, after that, have you seen what has happened? He said, no, you didn't follow up. I said, go and follow up. Now, one of the things we have to make people understand is that, you know, they say, well, we're growing up, but permission to use the Yoruba expression, that this thing, people are hungry, people are angry. It will not, this protest, if they don't manage, it won't end well. People have motives. You saw the guy that was arrested that was saying, yes, that's the average mindset of the average person. So government must do everything, not to quell this.
Right, but to control.
To get across to the people.
Appeal.
Okay.
Appeal to the people, get into the people, and show the people that we're in this together, this whole thing is going to pass.
Right.
Anything outside that, God will help this nation.
God will help this nation. All right. Thank you so much, Bosun Shifura, for finding time to be here on the program. We appreciate your thoughts.
Always a pleasure.
All right. That's the much we'll take on the conversation today. We will take a quick break. When we return, the Lagos ladies will take it from us.